Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the Boarding Actions Rules download. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Arks of Omen is back, baby. Boarding Actions Rules download. Perilous close quarters battles in the depths of space. Back when the Arks of Omen saga began, its twisted tale of demonic schemes and apocalyptic invasions, it introduced a game mode called Boarding Actions. These tense, fast-paced games pitted small armies against each other in a brutal room-to-room assault with highly modular terrain. It was the time for infantry to shine, freed from the presence of war machines and monsters too big to squeeze inside. Back then, we promised the boarding actions would be supported all the way through the launch of the new edition. It's time to make good on that promise. Today's downloads provide updated rules for playing boarding actions games, as well as a comprehensive list of mustering options for your faction of choice. The new boarding actions core rules replace the original ones found in Arks of Omen Abaddon, adapting the new core rules for Warhammer 40,000 to frantic shipboard battles. However, they're designed to work with the missions and mission sequences presented in all 5 Arks of Omen books, giving you dozens of missions and a variety of game modes to play through right from the start. So here we had the boarding actions download, and this is the full rules. Several rules references by these missions don't apply to the new edition, but that's not a problem. The boarding actions core rules clarify how to handle these situations. For example, actions no longer exist in Warhammer 40,000, so the new rules explain how to perform and complete any actions required by your boarding action missions. In other cases, new rules have been adapted to suit the claustrophobic battlefield. Units can stand on top of objective markers, for instance, just as they did in the previous editions. Some of those corridors would get mighty cramped if they couldn't. Another major change comes to leaders and bodyguards. The new rules for joining units would make it very easy to hide a powerful champion from harm. So in boarding actions, your leaders don't join a bodyguard at all. Instead, they fight solo and confer their powerful leader abilities to individual units with the new battlefield command stratagem. So we see the new stratagem, 1 command point, battlefield command. When your command phase, target 1 leader unit from your army and 1 friendly bodyguard unit within 6 inches of it that it could normally be attached to. Effect: select one of your leader unit's leader abilities. Until the start of your next command phase, that bodyguard unit gains the leader ability and is treated as being led by the leader unit for the purpose of that ability. Key changes have also been made to boarding actions mustering rules, as the battlefield roles that previously determined which units you could recruit no longer exist. Instead, each faction now has a simple list of details exactly which units they can select from their free index, and how many, together with any rules adaptations that apply. Several factions even gain access to previously locked options. Have you ever wanted to stalk the shadowy corridors with Kaivan Shrike? Or lay down a blistering pistol fire with Seraphim Squad? Alright, and here we see the Boarding Actions Mustering Rules 2.0, another free download. And that will be everything you need, plus the free index cards, and then obviously your models and your game board to play the actual game. These free Boarding Action Mustering Rules replace those found in the Arks of Omen books. But just like these missions, the faction-specific enhancements and stratagems from those supplements remain valid for use. Updates for these books will soon be on their way to ensure that your tricks and tactics work as smooth as ever. Need one final equipment check before the breaching shuttle launches? Here are the rules you need to play boarding actions. Warhammer 40,000 core rules, how to play games of Warhammer 40,000, which is free. Faction index cards, download all datasheets and army rules for your faction. Once again, free. Boarding actions core rules, adapt your games to shipboard battles. And for the 3rd time, free. Boarding actions mustering rules, learn how to build your faction boarding patrols. You guessed it, also free. Any Arks of Omen book, play a variety of missions and find out how to set up games, including judging the underdog and forming boarding squads. So there are 5 different Arks of Omen books, which are still available. Obviously, those are not free. Plus, here's what's in each Arks of Omen book. So a little breakdown of the 5 books. Arks of Omen Abaddon, 9 core missions themed around desperate battles with the hearts of the battle fleets, space hulks, and beleaguered installations. Arks of Omen Angron, 6 missions themed around aggressive attack and stalwart defense, plus additional rules for Astromotarum, Chaos Space Marines, Grey Knights, Orcs, Space Marines, and World Eaters. Arks of Omen Bashtor, 9 missions themed around the Rock Besiege campaign, plus additional rules for the Adeptus Mechanicus, Chaos Demons, Death Guard, Genestealer cults, Necrons, and Tyranids. Arks of Omen Farsight, rules for generating Dark Depths missions with variable maps, 9 multiplayer missions, and additional rules for Adeptus Sororitas, Eldari, Drukhari, Harlequins, and Tau Empire. And then finally, the Arks of Omen the Lion. 6 dread encounter missions for dramatic scenarios, 12 breaching operation missions for use with destructible walls, and additional rules for Adeptus Custodes, Agents of the Imperium, Leagues of Votan, and Thousand Suns. And it is worth note also that for a lot of the narrative stuff that's in these books, there are specific pieces that don't come in the actual like boarding action set. So for instance, it talks about the breaching operations down here on the Arks of Omen Lion, and you actually need one of the kill team sets that has like the breachable doors, or you need to use like post-it notes or something like that on your regular doors to represent that. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video. But if you're like me and you got all of the kill team stuff and you've been working on your terrain diligently, you will have all the cool like thematic little bits and everything like that that you can use in your games. And if anybody is interested in boarding actions, we are actually getting a terrain set all ready to go and going to be doing some battle reports of those along with the battle reports for combat patrol as well. So that should be super exciting. I know we are definitely excited about it and looking forward to it. Just putting some finishing touches on a few things, and then we're actually going to have quite a few different armies that we'll be able to play through different games with. And let me know if that's something that you are interested in, if you would like to see some boarding actions games. It doesn't seem nearly as popular as I had hoped that it would be, but there is definitely a lot of buzz around combat patrol, and that's probably going to be our primary focus, at least into the beginning of the edition, as we just sort of like get all the rules down and get used to the units and how they function, the army rules, etc. And let's just pop in here real quick and just kind of see what kind of download we're looking at. So we do have 14 pages, and we know that even though this is like a rules type thing, Games Workshop is pretty liberal with their illustrations and just kind of like random inserts. So like on the first page here is an introduction, but there's not really much actual information. And then we see like a breakdown of the basics, a little bit about setup. But as you can see, it does say it's 14 pages, but in all reality, you know, you're probably looking at substantially less than your typical 14 pages. So we see the base rules and everything, movement, etc. So pretty cool. And then if we just jump over here and take a look at the boarding actions mustering rules, I'm guessing roughly like 1 to 2 pages per faction. Okay, great. Looks good. 23 pages on this. Boarding action mustering rules 2.0. So we see the Adeptus Sororitas takes up 1 page, and it basically just breaks down what you need to actually like build your boarding patrol, and then some specifics about the rules. We see one for Adeptus Custodes. So yeah, it looks like about 1 page for each faction here as well. So let me know if anybody else is kind of buzzing on the boarding actions. Doesn't seem from like some of the games and battle reports I've seen that it's quite as popular, but I think it'll be really fun. I do like the idea of like a narrative campaign or something like that, where there is part of the fight taking place inside of like boarding actions on a spaceship or like planetfall installment, and that could potentially affect how like the campaign works. So maybe you have a Space Marine team inside of like a chaos installation trying to activate like the main door so that you can have like a big tank join your forces or something along those lines. And if you succeed, you get extra points or the ability to spend your points on like a big tank. And if you fail, you don't have the ability to take like heavy support choices or things that would have went through that wall. Just kind of like cool little stuff like that kind of affects the campaign and does like outsource missions. I always like the idea of sort of doing that with Kill Team, but I think Boarding Actions does just like a little bit better of a job kind of corresponding, but I think you do it either way. But anyway, that's enough for today. Let me know if you guys are excited for this, if you're looking forward to playing some Boarding Actions, or if you have played it and you enjoyed it or didn't. For me, it was going to be a pass initially, but once Games Workshop said that it would definitely get rolled into 10th edition and be fully compatible, that was all I needed to hear. And I have read through most of the Boarding Actions books and through the lore and everything, and there is a lot of cool stuff there and some cool stories and everything, awesome artwork. So definitely happy with the actual books themselves, and it's nice to see that they're giving out all of these rules as well. So as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Make sure to check them out to save 15%. Link in the description. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I can't wait to play some Boarding Actions in 10th edition. And I'm out of here.